Scab? A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses. Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something. We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time. I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Oh. Good, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Everard? Sure. I've had the necessary free time. Fortunately, there's always time. Buddy still hanging in the tree? Hey, that's a rough pickle. Can't help you with that, sorry. We're negotiating our share. This stuff. They already covered. Aye, all of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process. Never grateful. Were we ever grateful, we'd have nothing. You fight for every piece. No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. You see, the owners already benefit greatly from the harbor. No one can doubt that. They get so much. Quite a shitty board, I must say. Means someone's got to reform it. I, for one, want to face the fat ones when decisions are made. I have nothing against communists. They are honorable boyaderos. And they have good analysis. But my own code serves me well. If my code starts failing, a code can fail a man as well as a man can fail a code, then I will have to submit to a new one, which may well be communism. See, I am primarily a lazy person. Hey, if the rich folks screw over poor folk with little concern for their merits or futures, why shouldn't poor folk screw over rich folk from time to time? I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, he is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties. Watches out for his own. Call me Mañana. I'm just a humble harbor worker for the past 6-7 years. It means call me tomorrow. I'd say a real name is what most people call you. A nom de guerre would be more like Guerra Mañana. Now that we're getting so well acquainted, what's your name? I hear you and it's, pleasure meeting you, Harry. But do keep an eye out for an alternative, all right? Wow, this is major. You're like a man born anew. Okay, so if you can't find it, maybe make up a new one? Boyadero. Well, Boyadero, I guess I don't really have a claim to your hand or anything. I'm not. I'm Vasoliero. Not all masks have the mask look either, you know. Things in the real world are a bit more fluid. Stuff ain't always what it appears to be. And then we might go out together, which sounds fun. But I guess I have a strike to watch. Keeps you warm on a day like this. Or any day for that matter. Like me and you. Exactly so. Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You guys have all sorts of gadgets these days. Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you now? Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think. Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Sure yourself. Yet one can't live nameless. Names are important things. Vessels of the soul. It can take time to come up with a good one, for sure. Yeah. A name's the kind of shit that can kill a man. Mañana's a good name in that regard. More a poetic thing. Any attempt to formulate a grand unified theory about it ends in the stupidest shit imaginable. Doesn't make it less true, though. That means I can't tell you about it. I can only show you. You may understand in time. Or not. But it might be easy enough. Yes, friend. The world is certainly stupid enough to have stupid features. Can't live in this world without names, see? Important things they are. Vessels of the soul. It's not enough. Not enough to get ahead. More about keeping us in our place. So, anything else you wanted to discuss, Boyadero? Are you quite sure? Hold on, man. Keep it slow and steady. Don't succumb to fate. It can take time to come up with a really good one. There's no rush to find yourself. If you say so, I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself. I walk right past Measurehead and go in. A man walking on the edge of a razor, eh? Leaves more for me. The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? No need to get aggressive. I'm really not the one to ask. What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course. Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. But that's not you, officer. From back when you were not a cop, but a heavy-set, dark-skinned dock worker named Santiago John? Good thing, too. I've known Johannes for a few years now. Be sinister if he turned into a completely different person overnight. How did you get his shift card anyway? Highly unlikely. I've known John for several years now. Also, you told me you're a cop, remember? How did you get his shift card? Thank you plenty. I'll make sure John gets his card back. Oh, is my friend in some sort of trouble? Who knew? Yes, and you also told me you're a cop. But now that this is settled, how did you get his shift card? Suspicious activity. How very troublesome. Yet take a look around. Strikers, protests, scabs. Isn't it also very suspicious? So mysterious. So intriguing. Either way, the road in front of you is wide and open. Plenty to go around. Don't get greedy and try to swipe mine, though. You got your own. A name worthy of the man who holds his friend. Names are important. Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw it like that. It's a thing we harbor folk do, passing around cargo and such. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But these scabs ain't begging. They ain't holding on to their integrity. Good one, officer. Don't worry. We here have solidarity with the RCM. Oh, okay. Good luck with that. So, what do you need? My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits. Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini Supremus is there. Walk right past him. Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure head in a physical confrontation, or you could convert to a Semini Supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible. Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition. Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong. No, I said scab. Oh, sorry, friend. Didn't mean to throw it like that. It's a thing we harbor folk do. Comes naturally. Yes, the city has a way of pairing souls. John's been out drinking himself blind. He should be more careful, that Johannes. Can I have the card? Oh, John's been out drinking himself blind again? He should watch his step, that John. Can I have the card? You're quite the righteous man. Honor allows us to keep a respectful distance from each other. So, what do you need? Then press the button to unlock the door, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Está. Was not meant as provocation or ridicule. Right, always glad to help out. We're on the same branch, you and I. Not like these slithering scabs. Man of honor. I respect that. We were talking about scabs, yeah? Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though. Right, always glad to help out the RCM. We're on the same branch, you and I. Humans, I mean, not slithering scabs. I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs. Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though. Aye, you lost me there, Honcho. But it's okay as long as you're not a sorry-ass scab. Aye, now here's the thing. At any time, some other capitalist could take the place over with the blink of an eye, without even owning any of the buildings. So why should they be the only ones with the power to take stuff over? He's probably in his container at the harbor. So head right on in there. Just the way the world works, boyadero. That's one way to call it, friend. An unnecessarily complicated way. Then how can anything ever be mine? But that's okay. We don't have to agree. The prairie is wide enough for all of us. I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills. Is it the dulcet tone of ultra-liberalism I hear? Sure thing. He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts. Words guide our life. We commune with each thing through its word. Every word is also a name, is it not? Hola, Tequila Sunset. Gran Boyadero. Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor machinery. Maybe you could even knock that Kowalson crane over using some remote controls. Or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right? Knocked him out good. Like the flying desperado. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. You escape now? Everard's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, eh? Doesn't often dole it out, though. But sure, why not? I'm not really an admirer of dead bodies. Might be someone else from the Union can render assistance. Aye, sir. I get it. Hush, hush about the secret technology. It's that really cool flying desperado spin kick you did, boyadero. Often performed by the most hard-bodied boyaderos on the steppes. So, what's on your mind this time? So, how'd you like our harbor? It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife? I guess getting past the man ain't that simple after all. So, what now? A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open? Oh, say no more. I got you. They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that. Except it's Everard's law. But really, they're just like you. Los Ardis? They're an independent militant group. A bit too high-strung, but it comes with the responsibility. Why not? Must be nice being something else for a change. The rest of us are just folks. There are types of danger. The one I'm usually concerned with is lung cancer or getting mauled by wildlife. Not bullets, yet you live. It calls back to an older era where this was commonplace. You have a true boyadero heart. Any political movement goes through a period of strife. Shame you got mixed up in it, though. Time will tell. I'll tell Everard you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. Time will tell. I'll tell Everard you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. Time will tell. I'll tell the boss man you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. Harry. It's cool, but I'm sure you could come up with something even cooler. A strong, solid name telling of dedication and honor. Well met, Harrier. It calls back to an older era, where this was commonplace, though. You have a true boyadero heart, yet it calls back to an older era, where this was commonplace. You have a true boyadero heart, hiding, gathering themselves. The harbor's in full lockdown, friend. No getting in or out, for the time being. No, man. Not today. Today is war. The little boy had the good on his promise. To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me, pardon the choice of words. Not mine. I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official Union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes. At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun, you know? So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, the cops in his pocket, and he's the king of Jamrock. It's a minor nuisance. It's all good. I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk Union man about some armor. Not much. Technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part. I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. I didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off. In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. A kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots, well, it looks like you're wearing them. In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw. Too hard to remove. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia. No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for showing me the way. Nice. From what I learned, it was a very heavy, boring set of armor. Smart choice. It's only that one spot you need armored too. The one the bullet hits. A mesquite epic then, all across Martinez. I hope it will be a real bonanza for you. You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first. Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye. Like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. Serious business, as I'm sure you now realize. The boss would have been glad to tell you. Alas, you cannot get to him anymore. I'll be okay here, doing lookout. Quite the sight, aren't they? Getting to like that red I am. Don't worry about me. I live to alleviate the worries of our brothers. See if any insane killers turn up. Then I'll run. And live. You know it, friend. I'm sure I'll be luckier than you, friend. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. Bull or weasel? Oh, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure he's actually Occidental, though. So you're going to be committing fratricide, my racist friend. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the wailing in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business. I'm not so sure about the hustle grind, but it doesn't matter. It's a good thing you're doing. Thanks. Oh, so the none of the above type are you? I get it. I get it. I like to keep my distance too. But it doesn't matter. It's a good thing you're doing. Thanks. I knew this man was a commie. And it's a good thing you're doing too. Thanks. The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for. Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole. Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend. None of this mess we're in, this jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. Yes, you said as much. That's a good one. But I know you're not a dock worker. I even gave you that key to the weasel then, remember? Now, how can I help you? Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. Of course, policia. It wasn't me. You can rule me out. Easier that way. I don't believe you. Post L'Aventurier said the same thing. They tried to get me to be their postman. So fun, so easy, they said. It's just walking. It wasn't. I'm doing much better here at the harbor. Being an honest union man with a lot of free time on his hands. Probably not. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Much better here at the harbor. For an honest union man like me. That's okay. I have no idea what I'm doing either. I don't even know what day it is. Don't tell me. It's a better day that way. Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semenese supremacist up there. Walk right past him. Sure. I'm really sorry, friend. Fritz nearby. Get some Nosafed. Good stuff. Helps against heart attacks too. All right, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity to the RCM. It's low in technology, however. First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it. You're welcome. Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore, if they ever did at all. Forget about them. I did. No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search. Of course. I got you. You don't know anything. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker, see. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for. The wolf always wants more. I like wolves. And none of the above kind of man. No harm in being that. The old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish. Okay, he's reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. Moralism least of all. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most corrupt of them all. Too bad. Can't live in this world without a good name, friend. Important things they are. Vessels of the soul. So you have. No wonder you're a detective. Yeah, it would be really bad if we got into an argument about it. Waste of a good noon. Or afternoon. Or night. Anyway, thanks for helping out, friend. I don't know about that. Anyway, like I said before, Bossman said that Weasel's not a friendly boya. So, thanks for helping out. A really cool guy. That's so. I haven't heard anything about that. But if that's true, well, he was an enemy combatant. I guess you won't be collecting them all then. That's less work for you at least, especially getting those boots off him. You'd have an easier time wrestling the spurs off a boyadero than that. Good luck if you go for those boots though. You'd have an easier time wrestling the spurs off a boyadero than getting them off him. What's that, boya? Have you tried a butcher shop? Don't think I've ever met a Kras personally. Then again, I've never been to Grad. Could be coming from one of the jam lorries. Cargo's been sitting out for a while. You might have to look elsewhere for help with that. Now, that is an important subject, but also a sensitive one. Still, good of you to just come straight out with it. No beating around the bush. Ah, now I see. Can't say I'm surprised. You seem to take your communism seriously. Not a bad thing, mind you. It's good for a man to take time to think about the whole socio-political world picture. Comunistas, huh? Can't say that's where I thought you were heading with this. Not that I'm criticizing. It's good for a man to take his time and think about the whole socio-political world picture. So you've given up copying and now you're hunting comunistas. Care to say why? Oh, I see. A fellow plains roamer in search of greater understanding. A classic story. Chasing a dream, huh? I have to respect that, Boya. I wish I could help. Unfortunately, I don't know many comunistas. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, I'm not institutional. A man's got to blaze his own trail, in my book. Some are, some aren't. It's a big institution, room for all kinds. Comunistas, feminist supremacists, even an anti-institutional boyadero didn't realize you could smell communism. But then, I've never studied the subject. But you know, I did meet a genuine ideologo a few months ago. Perhaps he's your guy. I couldn't tell you. Once I declined his offer, we finished our cigarettes and he disappeared back into the night. Just before he melted into the shadows, he turned to me and said, "Remember Dobrava and Abadanais." And then he was gone. I don't know. Guess not everyone remembers. So they were lovers, eh? Makes sense. He seemed like a romantic, in his way. Been wondering about that myself. Some comunista inside talk could be. Not meant for the wider public. They love that kind of thing. You'd have to ask someone who knows this ideologo personally. I have to say, though, it sounds like you found yourselves a proper hunt. It sounds like you found yourself a proper hunt. Just in time. The faithful partner arrives with the key that turns the lock. You two make a good pair. Sound like you two may have been riding together too long. The strain of the open range and so on. I salute you, boyas, and wish you good fortune on this grand ideological quest. I have to say, though, it sounds like you found yourself a proper hunt. Is that so? Well, in that case, I salute you, boya, and wish you good fortune on this grand ideological quest. You know, a guy with a theory. Someone who likes to pit his theory against other theories in deadly theory combat. Didn't say anything about his name. Wasn't the sort of encounter where names matter. It was late one night as I was leaving the arbor. He was waiting on the corner in a bright white jacket. Classic Sarameritian style. He asked me for a light. We shared cigarettes. Then he asked me if I ever thought about getting into some of the extra physical branches of communism. The same thing I always tell people who try to press some claim on me. I said, every boyadero rides alone. I don't think so, boya. I took it to mean he was asking me to join some sort of underground cell. No idea. I took it to mean he was asking me to join some sort of underground cell. A very old school organizing technique. The sort of thing comunistas used to do before the revolution. It was all right. A little like something out of a Vespertine spy novel, but I must respect the effort. It was late one night as I was leaving the arbor. He was waiting on the corner in a classic Sarameritian jacket. A lot like the one you've got there. So do we, Scab. So do we, Scab.